All right. Good morning, everyone. Let's get some charts up. All right. All right. So yesterday we were looking for our bias was probably going to have some kind of a consolidation, go nowhere kind of a day. And today I wanted to talk about multiple time frames and why trading turns in an uptrend is difficult. Actually, most times it just doesn't make sense trying to do it. So if you believe that prices are going to correct, which we know we're getting close to some kind of correction, and we don't know what that looks like, whether it's how that unfolds. Uh, we figure prices are going to pull back. Now that leads to how do I make money from that? That's our main goal here every day. So, being in an uptrend, even if somewhat extended, it doesn't make sense to be shorting it unless you get certain conditions. One of those conditions is correcting through time for a while or some kind of a failure pattern, right? Wide range bar failure pattern, um, something that provides us information that says like longs or their confidence are going to get shaken. And the move up, that momentum creates what we call that void. And some movement sideways, correction through time, provides a distance away from prior support. Now, depending on how things form, and sometimes counter trend trades, we call them climactic sell setups. They move up so far, so fast that there really isn't much of any support to trade off of, and trading those type of setups tend to be, let's say, more predictable, more easy to trade. So as we believe things will pull back, because it's really, really extended and there's nothing underneath it, things can pull back more sharply. That's part of the belief system, right, or thought process. So with a setup like this, like looking at the spiders, it's a bit different, right? Because there was a lot of stops and starts, and so you got a congestion area right there to deal with, and that you can see exactly that's where prices stopped pulling back yesterday and began to stabilize. So now we've got the high point, which may get taken out. This is in an uptrend, so that's got to get the benefit of the doubt. You know, that's got to get the benefit of the doubt. So we see today, right? It's going to gap up a little bit. What we want to look for is how far does this go today? So as we look to make money from any situation and then determine, can we make money from it? Does it make sense to try and make money from it? Or should I just move on to something else? Right? Meaning, well, as I'm using the spiders for an example, I don't have to trade this. Nobody does. Right? Intraday, that's a whole nother conversation. But just based on what's happening here, there's no big bar, there's no gap up reversal, there's no topping tail. It's really just a normal kind of, hey, it's a red day within an uptrend, and it stopped at minor support on the 65-minute. Nothing of significance has happened here yet. So are they hard to trade? No, it's probably harder for you to just walk away and say, I'm not trading it. I'm doing something else. So when we start to look at a situation where we look at our internals, we look at this, it gapped up, so on and so forth, um, we have to make a decision as to whether this is something that we want to trade or not. Is volume? Yeah, we can consider volume. I don't look at volume in a, see, I don't even have it on the chart, but I usually have it on my other daily charts. But how is volume helpful to us? Well, I still wouldn't trade this regardless of what the volume was, high volume, low volume. But if there was a huge volume spike on this bar, it gapped up, and I'd be like, wow, with all of that volume, this didn't accelerate further. So it's one piece of the analysis. It's not a reason to do anything. Um, but it could be a heads up. So as far as volume goes, primary interest is volume spikes, and that is one of the scans, or in one of the columns of the scans in TC 2000. Right, that in the column where you can scan for it directly is big volume spikes. And why would we go look at that? Because there's been a lot of activity. And then from there, it's like, okay, let me see what the pattern would suggest, something. Right? So looking at volume, it may lead us to an opportunity, but volume is never the opportunity. Price presents opportunities, and volume can enhance that opportunity. Right? So again, today we have a little gap up in the middle of yesterday's range. It's still in an uptrend. We did get a close below a prior day's low. So a minor piece of information as far as the bias, which was being led to, hey, this is short-term extended, but it came out of this long base. Our internals, we're talking about, these were inching into an extreme. Now, as I look at this and I look at yesterday, I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe, these are in alignment here at the high. Maybe that was enough, to start this rolling over. I don't know. I mean, just like volume could be a piece of information to pay attention, a big volume spike, internals are a piece of information to pay attention. Whereas, prices are moving up and internals still have room to the extreme. And it's like, okay, there's still, I use the analogy, gas in a tank. And we're still watching to see, is this getting ready to correct further or not? We'll see how it unfolds. And I'll do SPX now. We'll just look at the other things. These are the strikes just before coming on here for today. So below this congestion area, it's gapping up. And should be a safe number. That's all we're thinking about when we think about credit spreads. Just looking at numbers today. I don't know. I don't know that it's a market mover. Consumer inflation expectations that are at 11 o'clock. So you may keep that in mind, or you're just done for the morning anyway by 11 o'clock, possibly. All right. And up above there, again, trading. This is trading in here. That's kind of pretty tight. If so, you got this little buy setup on the 65-minute chart on this minus support. This is, where was it? Up here a little bit. It's suggestive of a trading range, the beginnings of a trading range, as I would assume we wait for some additional information as to whatever that might be. Economic news, tariffs, China, who knows, right? So as this develops, this is in an uptrend. And if this is going to correct further, the beginnings of that typically would evolve into some kind of sideways consolidation. We've got high and a low here on a 65-minute chart. There was the gap down yesterday. So until proven otherwise, I would suspect this is going to stay between here and here. And if we see that this doesn't go anywhere, we just, things have to develop. As intraday traders, we just have to see things develop. So sometimes that takes 5 minutes. Sometimes that takes a couple of hours, or it'll just chop around here today, and we'll add to that information tomorrow. All right, Qs, still same thing. Up move, gap, correction, sideways. Where is it here? You can see the data on the 65-minute chart. It's at that prior resistance there. So same story, beginning to develop a sideways trend. IWM, breakout, extension, pulling back, gapping into yesterday's range. There you have it. Maybe it goes up a bit more. Expectation would be it is in some type of sideways trend, and we'll see what happens from there. Let's adjust these. What did the transports do? All right, same story. Right. Little extension, beginning to pull back, has room to resistance. I mean, it's into the, somewhat of it, but as this moved up with wide range bars like that, power bars, we assume that while extended short term, there's going to be buyers on pullback. It'll look to make the turn, maybe at the 200, and then continue up here. So what we look at creates a bias, and then we see how that bias unfolds and applying, bar by bar analysis, our concepts that guide us, retracements, and so on, will enable us to shift that bias as time goes on, or it'll continue, right? Meaning, assuming this doesn't go much of anywhere today, we'll see the next bar and the next bar. Maybe it pulls back here. In other words, we have no setup to trade at this moment on the daily time frame or the weekly time frame, other than having a bias that, hey, if this pulls back into this area where there's some support in the 200 MA, there should be buyers here. And now we see if it makes a turn. And that's it. Right? And to my point, the point about volume is like, who would care if it's got a high volume there or a low volume? Because historically, right, my history is I've seen turns happen on low volume. I've seen them happen on high volume, and trying to make a decision to press the button based on volume didn't make sense. If we get a bottoming tail bar, if we would get a bottoming tail bar that was a correction bar at the support area, right? Those type of things increase our confidence level of the turn. Right now, we are confident that there are going to be buyers on this pullback. Now we wait to see how much it pulls back and what happens. Right? So yesterday, down here at the end of the day, some things moved a little bit more than others, but you did have a little bit of a bottoming pattern on the 5-minute chart. So maybe, again, things are gapping up here a little bit, so that's following through to some extent. Interest rates, up a little bit more, coming up into this resistance area. It's been in this trading range, and now it's beginning to create another different levels of within what's been existing. So big trading range, high, low, small trading range, middle of the trading range, resistance. I suspect interest rates aren't going to do too much today. Bitcoin, trading range, maybe tightening up here for a move higher, waiting to see. Basically, that's it, waiting to see what it's going to do. We need more information. Gold, just marking time, middle of the trading range. Nothing going on there. Silver, stronger, top of the range, going sideways. Did get a bottoming tail bar. I like the weekly time frame. It's got room to go up. Let's see. Look at the monthly. Yeah. So some type of a little bit more data here, and maybe silver will be along. You can see it's starting to pull back here a little bit, so nothing going on there for us. Crude oil got a wide range bar yesterday. MAs there clustered in this part of, we talked a little bit yesterday about the wide range bars being the weakest link. And the idea there is, wide range bars are a bunch of smaller time frame bars that create this void in this time correction. So sometimes it becomes like, how the hell could this be going up after such a nasty bar? Well, it happens. And we'll see if this can continue to go sideways there. And And yeah, yeah, that's it. We just got to see how the rest of this develops here. Everything else kind of looks the same. You can see semiconductors, which have been the strongest, and mid caps bringing up the rear, pulling back here a little bit. Um, Software, same thing, and you know that looks good. Like it can go higher. So everything looks like it could go higher. Just need to maybe consolidate a bit more, a pullback. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, just updating Goldman here. We got a gap down. Somebody downgraded a couple of them. We were doing, as you know, looking at bear call credit spreads yesterday.
Oh, I thought you were saying Goldman Sachs had called you for an update on what was going on.
Yeah, they did.
Cool.
They just their lead strategist. All right, screen here. Had to update that. All right, so here's our Goldman gapping down. A lot of climbos. We're actually long XLF in the ETF letter. We bought this gap breakout, and we might, I think, yeah, we sold a third yesterday, but still have 2/3 left. JP Morgan was another one on our list for a call spread. Either one was fine. Cruise ships, we did one on RCL yesterday, gapping up a little bit, but another Climo. CCL gapping up here. And there was not as much juice on that one. Alarms, Greg mentioned silver. This is a leverage. No, this is the miners. So I like this one better than SLV, the miners closing breakout daily, weekly. So I posted, let's start off trying to do a 48 put spread. So we say this all the time, even though we're not trading the broader markets because there's no pattern right now. We find beautiful patterns all the time. And another thing we've been emphasizing is patterns that we trade bullish have to be close to the 20 in support. So here's one right here, SIBO. We posted that as a directional over yesterday's high. Now I see it running a little bit. Yeah, let me tell them to wait for a pullback. FTNT. So every one of these that you're going to hear me talk about is a directional watch. It meets that recipe I just told you. Close to support in the 20s. So here's another one, FTNT. Closing breakout. So this one I'm not as crazy about a directional. Bottom of the range to the top, not a huge target, but I posted this as a put spread. Charlie Bravo. I don't know why that alarm went off. I think it was yesterday. But that was yesterday alarm. All right, so this is just a 1, 2, 3 breakdown. Got an alarm there. And that's it on alarms. I don't have any earnings, so let's just go look at my big interest list. A little junky over the counter bottoming pattern. I've been playing around with it a little bit, but nothing there. Wolf. This thing I thought filed bankruptcy. On this gap down, I think they filed, and it looks like it was going to zero. But my guess is they got a lifeline. That's typically what moves things like that. A bunch of stocks here. Greg mentioned the weekend letter, XLB. These are some of the components we're watching for a reversal. Bunch of them bottoming patterns. Well, we don't call that. We don't call a bottoming pattern. It's really anything over the 200 for sure. It's just consolidation and an uptrend, but no, this one's just a regular pullback and reversal trade. But a number of these were bottoming. Just gotta watch them. So that's a bottoming pattern. That broke out, pulled back. I'm actually going to be lecturing tomorrow on bottoming patterns for festival traders, I think. Greg, maybe you can get on that link. I would have to look it up. Why am I? Yeah, do you have it? I don't have it.
I'd have to go find it. There was an email sent out.
Yeah, I would have to look, but I don't have time to look for it. All right, so why am I looking at Walmart? Amazon, we posted as a long because it's a bullish daily, weekly, and they got their prime going on this week. We're in this target, another bottoming patterns, pulled back deeper than I wanted. And that's why I looked at Walmart. And this one's better. Let's see that this one's a multi-month consolidation and an uptrend. You got a rising 200 and you got a trading range, short to intermediate term. But you got a closing breakout. So I would do a 97 put spread if there's any juice. Dollar General consolidation over time and an uptrend. That looks good. UPS is a bottoming pattern. Well, the answer is yes. It was a 1, 2, 3 there, but what am I saying? Is it a bottoming pattern? Yes, but as of right now, 100% retracement is not what you want to see. So is it a failed bottoming pattern? Does it just need a couple more weeks to shape up? The answer is I don't know. Are you in? Yeah, I am. Yeah, Greg, I'm in the stream. All right, continuing here. Meta. Remember I said yesterday it had a very nice 15-minute chart. Look over here. Yesterday morning was ripping. And then I read today that they're working on their super AI stuff. And I took one of Apple's top guys, but I don't see anything to do right now. CMA got a downgrade. That's another bank. That's a regional bank. Another Climo. There's no premium though. Sienna had a downgrade. 7680. That could be a call spread idea if there's any juice. D-Dog downgrade. This was the one that got added to the S&P last week. 146. Okay, but it's at the bottom of this big green bar. So that looks like it's coming into a gap more. That's a day trade short and call spread I do. Clack. Got a downgrade, but that's still strong. No good pattern. This one, they gave some type of financial information. I thought it was gapping up here. If it opened flat, I would say this would be a great 1, 2, 3 short setup. If it actually gapped over yesterday's high, it'd be a shock pattern. There's the RCL we're in, Goldman we talked about, ENPH. You gotta stay away from these energy stocks because all this legislation, although the bill was done, Trump came out and said something that's trying to accelerate the expiration of their benefits. So those are gapping down. That could be the patterns is warranted of a call spread, but I just got to be careful here playing around in that sector. This would have been a fantastic breakout yesterday had I seen it. Nice, beautiful closing breakout. It's a decisive closing breakout, but not extended at all. And yet a night, just beautiful follow through. But now it's up a lot, but it still looks higher to me. Snow, it's strong all time frames. That's another put spread idea. Amazon talked about NAM. I have an alarm up there at 60.20. So the gold mining stock, has room. Has to get over yesterday's high though. JP Morgan, we said call spread chef. Alex mentioned yesterday some type of news. Now that's a big igniting breakout bar, as opposed to that Casey I just showed you was a small one. They're both tradable. I'm just pointing out a fact, Jack. That's a big one on big volume. So, Greg mentioned volume, and we really only care it spikes. I mean, sure, yeah, the old general rule, it's better to have just increasing volume, but we'll trade it. I mean, look at this igniting pattern. I would trade that if there was no volume. Who cares? But what this volume tells us is it's confirming the power of that bar, because you had a ton load more market participants interested in buying it. Thomas Jets, I'm not sure what you're showing me there. I was talking about this being a continuation pattern right over here, which turned out to be perfect, but I don't see anything to do with it now. Charlie Bravo, another 1, 2, 3 short idea. FTMT, I mentioned already the put spread idea. XLB, it's a breakout on the ETF materials. That's some of these other stocks I already went through. CCL, another Climo. Merck's a potential bottoming pattern. Now see, this one's still better than UPS, because UPS went all the way back down, right? So this one is still okay. I have an alarm at 81.60. So that one's still in play. Alex was mentioning this as a bottoming pattern. So that's working, gapping up. So this isn't the same bottoming pattern where the 20 and the 50 are both bottoming, but it's bottoming following a climb up. So that was still good, but now it's up too much. Baidu. I was hoping to get a 1, 2, 3, nice 15. That could even be a 30-minute high day trade. Uber. Are we long this or just put spread? I know I did a put spread yesterday. Yeah.
INOD breaking out.
INOD.
That's what you call it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a sloppy consolidation. That's a something bar. Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's made a big old move here, pre-market up $3. So obviously, ideally, we get a pullback. Yeah, I know it looks good. And that was a bullish pre-market too on I-9. And yeah, you got to be aggressive if you're gonna just buy a gap and go on that. Although the bullish pre-market could have been one to even buy pre-market. That was nice. And there's nice. Let's do. I think this sells. Wow, there's massive juice. 76. I'm gonna try 80 here. Um, it's a little spready, so yeah, there has to be some news on this.
You know, the stock has 52-cent spread. You can bid it, pull it, buy it on a pullback, whatever.
Right, I mean, this is one like you hear me saying the thing. It just doesn't look like it has any oomph to it. Like this, remember I was saying that about this Akamai. It's just a dead animal. We got in on this little breakout right there, but when I have an alarm at break even, so that's just dead. Otis, my man. That's a
Oh,
nice little
Toast taking out. What is doing? No, that's not what you told me yesterday. This is a software stock. TOST. Tim in chat just shared with me. Looks good.
yeah, toss. Yeah, big old yeah, trading range and now's the breakout. Sure. Only thing I don't like is up 3 bars.
Yeah.
Um look, my FFAI is ripping. Mention this pre-market. Look at that's something's up there. That's a big bar.
WM or the Russell futures looking the best here.
This my man from Animal House. Puts her a liquid. Yeah, nice bottoming pattern again. Took a couple months to set up. I got the Charlie Bravo. Let's do this under the Yeah. Wow, RCO hanging tough. That one hasn't triggered. It's good. Yields gapped up. Ain't it? Bull rectangle hasn't triggered. CBOE, that was actually triggered cleanly. 235.7. SYY alarm. Buy setup after breakout. I don't like the way it trades on the 15. Look how sloppy that is. Mark up alarm. No, it's not ready, but so that's the one I said it's a bottoming pattern still of interest. Uber put spread doing fine. ACI put spreads fine. LIB. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's I went on the list. Yeah, that's a nice bottoming pattern. I mean, I love selling puts on big old bottoming patterns because the premium, I mean, the just the wall of support, that's the bet you're making. But can't get any premium. 55s are only 10 cents for 10 DTE. It's ridiculous. Is oh no, MT Live tomorrow is how to use McGraw's gamma levels with our SPX levels. Here's where I'll be speaking tomorrow. Got with Footspring. Okay, this one should have been filled now. Well, 6 next week. $91. So yeah, shop's filled. I heard a bell. So I not. Yep, I got Phil on I not. All right.
Well, good fill, Robert.
PMT alarm. So that's good to go. I know. Oh, deep retracement. All right, but I got Phil on the puts. So I'll make those that.
The toast gave a lot back too, but maybe it's just a gift. Spread tightened up on it. I suspect some buyers increasing here.
Uber's the only one I like technically. Yeah, there was some news on that this morning. I looked at updating these alerts. Wow, soon took off. Hmm. We were in that the other day. Netflix having a bad morning. Google at the low. Amazon at the low. Oh, look at Apple at the low. Surprised the Qs are holding up as well. Look at all those nasty fangs there. Four of them. Oh, it's a big move. Look at Amazon falling. I'm just curious if that's falling this quickly because maybe they're saying that the sales are not starting off as robustly as they hoped. Just conversation piece.
I don't think it's falling for any fundamental reason.
XLY. Low alarm. We're long this in the ETF. I, I liked into a covered call yesterday myself. Sold the 220 calls against it. Yeah, that's 1, 2, 3 we were talking about yesterday. Yeah. I like all those converging MAs. I like the upside shakeout. I like the closing breakdown. So I might like it. I'll set one. I know W was on my list. I'm just cleaning stuff out on the other computer here. I was going to be a 1, 2, 3, but now deep retracement. Remember the CNC that got killed? Still not ready, but AI. Nah, I don't like it. It's at major resistance, the 200, the market weakening. I don't like it at all. Gee, that's a little alarm. Oh, we have the chef bottom right. That's my little alarm went on. Shouldn't have done that. We did a half lot, but don't like the retracement. Goldman new low. Nice big old topping pattern on the hourly. Could be approaching first target soon. Starbucks, let's see. 1, 2, 3. If it can break down, still pending.